All right, we're here with Alberto at the Ruma Dojo, and this is our intro to entrepreneurship interview project. And my name is Nolan.
My name's Ethan.
I am Lars.
My name is Alberto Juarez.
And we have a couple questions to ask Alberto. And so I guess for the first one, I could ask, please briefly describe your current business venture.
I own a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu dojo. I own it and I operate it.
All right. And then what were you doing just before you started this venture?
I was teaching full-time at the UFC gym in Sunnyvale. I was teaching Jiu-Jitsu full-time, and at the same time, I was running a youth sports franchise called National Academy of Athletics. So I was doing that before I opened up my own gym in 2022.
Okay. Um, so I guess before that, what was your educational and prior work experience, and was that helpful in starting your own venture besides like the coaching experience, like the education side of it?
Yeah, so after high school, I was going to college I wanted to be like a doctor. So I was kind of doing that. But at the same time, I was just starting jiu-jitsu. And then eventually I realized I had a passion for jiu-jitsu and I didn't want to get in crazy amount of debt and do something that I wasn't passionate about. So I ended up taking a break from school for like 5 years and just doing jiu-jitsu full time. At that time, I was working in restaurants to pay bills and then teaching and training jiu-jitsu all the time. Then eventually I got my black belt and I was like, you know what? I want to go back to school, and if I were to open up my own gym, which I thought might be a plan in the future, it was never like I was never certain about it. But if I were to do that, I probably should get some education that might help me. So I studied sports management. So I got my kinesiology degree with the emphasis on sports management, and I got a minor in business. So I went to San Jose State, and I went to San Jose State especially because they had the judo program, which really caught my attention because I wanted to. I got my black belt in jiu-jitsu, and I was like, oh, I want to do some judo that might help me develop my jiu-jitsu game even like stronger, so get more stand-up. So yeah, I think to answer the question, getting the experience studying in the classroom with the sports management and minor in business, it helped because as soon as I graduated, I ended up getting that job owning the franchise, so like I think my background, I was able to put it to use right away.
Okay.
And this whole time I'm teaching jiu-jitsu still, like teaching at different gyms. I never stopped really teaching jiu-jitsu, but that background education gave me the opportunity to own this franchise, and then that gave me a lot of like firsthand experience. So yeah,
Okay.
it definitely helped.
Yeah. And then, do you think it's important? Like, how important is it to kind of like set yourself up for opportunities like that, where you kind of have to like form like a path, like a plan to kind of become what you want to be? Like, I guess, to put it in different words, make a kind of like find the time, that the window of opportunity to like make your dream come true in a way.
Uh, I don't know. That's a good question. Like I never knew that I was gonna have my own gym. Things just kind of happen. And
Okay.
yeah, I think when I first was at my professor's gym teaching, I was teaching jiu-jitsu, helping with the kids, and then as I got better, I was helping with the adults, and I pretty much started running all the classes at my professor's gym. I was running the majority of the classes, adults and kids. It gave me a lot of operational experience and management, but on the other side, like I saw the other side of owning a business, which is like the back end stuff, which kind of scared me. I was like, oh man, that sounds really hard. And then so just seeing that experience, seeing how difficult it was, it kind of turned me off. I was like, I don't think I want to open my own gym. I think I'd rather just coach jiu-jitsu for somebody, get paid, get in, get out. So that kind of attracted me. So, but and I always thought, like, you never know, maybe my plans will change. I think you just got to keep yourself open, you know, because it's great to have a goal and a dream and a plan, and sometimes you can kind of like will that into existence. But I think at other end, like you have to just be open, because what we want today is not going to be what we want 5 years from now, and what we want 10 years from now. It's like it's always changing. So I think as long as you're open, then as the opportunities and you present yourself, opportunities will come up, and you can choose whether or not you want to take it. So like, yeah, I think we should have a plan, but I think it's also you also have to be flexible in your plan and ready to make adjustments.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's very interesting. And how and why did you decide to become an entrepreneur instead of, I guess, like keeping like just the coaching job? Kind of like what kind of pushed you in a way?
So eventually, like when you start teaching for other people, or if you're working, let's say you're a mechanic and you're working at a shop, you know, you got to do things the way the shop wants it. Or in my case, I was teaching jiu-jitsu for other gyms. Before the UFC gym, I was at a few different gyms around here. I actually was opening up my own Daruma Dojo little franchise in 2019 before the pandemic, but we can talk more about that later. But point being, and even in that case, like when you are working for someone or with someone, you always have to compromise.
Okay.
Right? If you have I'm teaching at this gym. I'm the head instructor at the gym, but if I want to implement some sort of ideas or some sort of curriculum or some sort of class, I have to present it to the board or present it to the management, and then that takes how long? You know what I mean? That takes like, it might take days, weeks before they make a decision, and then when they make the decision, the chances, you know, of them like giving you full freedom is very, very low. I think there's some people that in some jobs they're just given the freedom and people trust them. But I think, you know, after doing that for so many years, and then when I was at the UFC gym, I was teaching full time. I always taught part time, teach jiu-jitsu part time, because it never paid enough.
Okay.
I teach jiu-jitsu, but then I have to work on the restaurants on the weekends. Or I teach jiu-jitsu and I run my youth sports company. You know, I teach jiu-jitsu, but then I have to work construction. So I was always teaching jiu-jitsu, but I always had a second job that helped me pay the bills.
Yeah.
Right. But eventually, I was teaching full time at the UFC gym, and then I was really catching my stride, and I was creating a community, and then I just felt like, man, like I don't want to answer to anybody anymore. I just want to do it I want to do it my way. I have these ideas, and I'm being held back from the decisions and the timeline, and it's always a compromise. And so, and when you're working for someone, in most cases, you're kind of limited as to how far you can go or how much money you can make, and the things you're able to accomplish. So I felt like just the time was right, and I was excited to like just create something on my own.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of just like to be your own boss, basically, in a way.
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So now I don't have to, for the most part, if I don't have to answer to nobody.
Yeah. You can't beat that right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I'll pass this one along.
All right, my turn to speak. And then, do you have any role models? Like, what inspired you to do this? Like anybody that you look up to, and then if so, please tell me about them.
Sure. My professor, Ricardo Barros, I learned a lot from him. You know, I was training jiu-jitsu with him from 2003 all the way until about 2012. And then even till this day, like we still talk, and he still helps me a lot. But you know, he inspired me a lot. Just seeing him, you know, come from Brazil with nothing but jiu-jitsu and make a life for himself, open up his business, pay, you know, support his family, and so he inspired me a lot. Like he gave me the idea that I can have a lifestyle the jiu-jitsu lifestyle, which I can make a living off jiu-jitsu, which in that time, like in 2003, 2010, 2011, like it was pretty much only way you could make a living off jiu-jitsu was pretty much having a gym. There was not very many professional jiu-jitsu avenues or sponsorships or now there's a lot more different now they have influencers, jiu-jitsu influencers, YouTube channels.
Right.
They didn't have that then, so it was like kind of limited. So that was like, okay, if I want to make a living doing jiu-jitsu, I either have to be an MMA fighter or I have to have a gym, right?
Yeah.
And so just him being a role model and giving me the confidence and an idea that this is possible, even back then, that kind of helped shape my future. I mean, for example, I wanted to be a doctor. I was going to go to UC San Diego, then I was going to go to UC Davis, and because I was so inspired through jiu-jitsu, I stopped. My path totally changed, right? And because I had a passion for that, so he definitely set a new direction for my life. Jiu-jitsu did, and him being my mentor in that part. But then, once I went back to school and I got my degree, which was like a goal that I needed to accomplish for myself, and I started teaching. I started owning the youth sports company. The CEO and owner of that company was definitely an inspiration and a role model for me as a entrepreneur, because my professor was and is a jiu-jitsu sensei, and then he had to try to figure out this business thing, right? Because that was how he had to make a life for himself. But this guy, he has a business mindset, and I learned a lot from him. His name is Aaron Locks. He's the owner of National Academy of Athletics, and I still actually reach out to him sometimes when I have questions about business. But the way that he is a leader really inspires me, and his attitude. He does so much stuff, and then for some reason he's always has the right attitude towards it, very positive, and he believes that it's all gonna work out for the good as long as you keep following that direction. And he's really good at managing his staff and being a good example. So and so I think those two are probably my biggest role models when it comes to leading me to owning Daruma Dojo.
Yeah. I like how you had two different role models. So you're not following directly in one path, but you're kind of right in the middle, kind of creating your own path as well, but being guided by both paths. And then how did you have a startup plan for any kind for this business, or did you just kind of roll with it and just kind of let life happen?
I created a business plan. Yeah. So when and I think that had something to do with my educational background. I think I took a class, a business plan. I had to create a business plan in a class one time, and it was some sort of sports management class, and I actually did it for a jiu-jitsu gym. So I kind of had a very, very basic outline on what a business plan is, right? How to project that, and so because of that class, when I went to open up the gym, I was like, okay, you have to lease the space, right? So you have to negotiate with the owner of the building or the management of the building, and they're gonna, it's kind of like when you rent an apartment. They want to see your pay stubs. They want to know you have a job. They want to make sure that you can pay the rent.
Right.
So when I come here and I'm a brand new business that's never been in business before, it could be risky for landlord.
Right.
So the fact that I created a business plan, so I bought a business plan book, which I think helped me as well, kind of get the outline. I did a lot of studying, YouTube videos, and I created a proper business plan, and that helped me present it when I was leasing the space. So I did do that, and it helped me. I'm not saying I followed it to the T, but it helped me get myself in the right mindset, because you got to project like, okay, this is what I need to do. This is a plan. And once again, like nothing ever goes according to plan, but it definitely helps prepare yourself opposed to just like getting the keys to the place and then, you don't have any financial plan and then you just start like overspending and then all of a sudden like you're in a bad spot. So yeah, so I did create a business plan. And then when it came to like financing it, me and my wife financed everything. Yeah.
Okay. Did you have any co-founders or did you start by yourself? Please tell me how you found your co-founders, partners, and employees.
No co-founders.
No
No,
co-founders?
just me and my wife.
As you and your wife, did you have
Yes.
like a set clientele already?
Well,
Or-
so I was at the UFC gym down the street. So I was, a corporation like that they're pretty used to people leaving and taking students.
Okay.
I've had, I think before I opened up my gym, I've had at least 2 or 3 friends, maybe more, that worked at UFC gym.
Okay.
Not necessarily this one, but other ones. And then, it's kind of like almost like a stepping stone because it gives you the experience. Like a lot of personal trainers, they work at 24-hour fitness. And they get that experience, and then some of them, they end up wanting to do their own thing and they leave, and some people follow them, right? So when I made the decision that I wanted to open up my own dojo, I was actually looking into Cupertino. You kind of, for me, what I did, and I still do, is I look at the map. And I'm like, where is there no jiu-jitsu within a certain amount of mile radius? And for me, Cupertino stood out.
Okay.
I was like, there's no jiu-jitsu in Cupertino or around Cupertino. It's a good clientele, good neighborhood. You got Apple, you got a lot of great businesses, great area, and a buddy of mine at the time. He had a friend that was in real estate, so she was able to pull up like a comprehensive list of all the commercial real estate that was available.
Okay.
And as I was looking in Cupertino, it's crazy expensive, very very expensive.
Yeah.
And for my first dojo and try to open up and get going, it just didn't make, it was really difficult to make sense of it. It was either like, you pay per square footage, and so it was really high square footage and all the places were like really big, right? And I wanted to start small. Like this is my first dojo, it's not very big, it's only like 1,500 square foot. And all you need is the mats. But then in that comprehensive list, there was this spot. And this spot used to be an Aikido gym, but they left after the pandemic. It's been empty. They even left all their mats, and the mats are actually under these mats. Oh, nice. Yeah, so this is like double matted. So we ended up like reusing it, and it just made sense. The spot was really, it's not that far from the UFC gym, which was not my intention to poach students, and I never did like intentionally try to take students. But right down the street, and so. Once we opened up, I probably had around like maybe a solid 30 students just to start.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. I'm gonna pass it on to Lars now.
Okay.
Thank you. So I know you mentioned earlier that you and your wife financed this gym.
Yes.
Could you go a little more into detail of how you managed to finance the venture? Where did you get the money? Where did you get your first employees / customers? And how did you find office space?
Yeah. So we kind of touched about it a little bit, right? Like as I was making the decision to open up my own gym, I had a friend and a student at the gym there that like we were kind of talking like, hey man, we should just open up our own gym, and I think us talking about it and like, all right, let's go do it, right? And he's the one that helped me find he's the one that helped connected me with a real estate agent that got me the comprehensive list, and that helped me to find this spot right here. And he wanted to be like partners, but I told him I didn't want a partner. You know what I mean? Like, and he was in my mind in the beginning. He was going to help fund the gym, and then maybe invest the money, be like an angel investor, and then get his money back, and then maybe coach in the gym. But he wanted equity in the business, and I didn't want. I was like, no, like this is my business. This is what I'm going to do. And so we kind of had a disagreement there. We ended up like squashing it years later, but he thought that he wanted to be a partner, and I was like, so then we had a conversation like a week after we started kind of like looking, and then like he thought one thing, I thought another thing, and then we talked about it, and then so it was just me and my wife. I didn't want to have any partners. I didn't want to give any equity to anybody besides me and my wife. So, my wife is a saver, so she had money in her savings, and she pretty much started. She gave me the money to do this. Yeah, and I think I answered that.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. No partners, just me, my wife, and we funded it ourselves. Like, I don't want to take out debt or loans to do anything. So I think it's a dangerous game. I know some people like to leverage debt, but I think it's very, very dangerous. So I from the start, we did cash. We had like, hey, this is how much money that we're gonna need. And we got really lucky because once I moved, like I said, like 30 students followed us. I would say that's a rough estimate. Could be a little more, could be a little less. And we had a founding members rate. So we did like a promotion in the first few months that like anybody who signs up, they have to pay like the whole year up front, but it's extremely discounted compared to most gyms. And we got a lot of people that were interested in that. And I think we got lucky in the timing, which I think a lot has to do. Like I was reading I'm just finishing a book called The Psychology of Money. And they talk about like risk and luck. They're kind of like the same exact thing, just opposite ends, right? So I was taking a risk, but I was able to have a lot of luck in the fact that there was no gyms in Sunnyvale really. The pandemic just kind of finished, and people were really excited to go back to training. The location and the place, I got a really good deal on the rent because I have a consultant, really good friend of mine, who's like a consultant for real estate. So he helped me negotiate the lease. And because of our founding members rate, and because of the interest, and because of the people that came from the UFC gym, by the time we opened up the doors, we were already in the green. So we kind of hit the ground running. Yeah, we got lucky.
Okay. So, I guess, what do you like about being an entrepreneur?
What I like being able to make decisions and be creative, because like when you have an entrepreneur, you can make a lot of different decisions and be creative, and like you're gonna make bad decisions and you're gonna fail, you're gonna try things and mess up, and that's very common. Like you have to be like just experimental and try new things. Like we try to do different events, we try to do different classes, we try to do different ways to teach the classes, different ways to manage the business, different ways. So I think that's really a huge part of being an entrepreneur. Is you got to be creative, and I really like that. And I like like there's no ceiling. You know what I mean? Like, okay, we start here. We opened up a second location. We have a second location in Milpitas. We did that. It opened up in January in 2025. So it's just been a little over a year. So I think those are two huge things that I really like about being an entrepreneur is you get to make your own decisions, you get to be creative, you get to, there's like no limit as to the growth that is potentially there. I'm not sure who says it, but like to be successful in business or as an entrepreneur, one thing is like the speed in which you can make decisions. So like if you're like, oh, I gotta think about that, and you take too long, and every little thing is just your growth is gonna be so slow. So I think that's kind of fun. Is like, okay, I came to a point where, you know, there's no right or wrong decision in a lot of cases. Like you just make a decision and then follow through with it. And then along the way, you're going to be like, oh, okay, that wasn't the best one because of this, or maybe I can change it. So that's another fun part about it is eventually you kind of let go of, I have to make the right decision. It's like, no, you just make a decision and then now do the next steps and then make another decision. So that's kind of like a great thing about it, but also a pain in the butt about being an entrepreneur is that like you're just making decisions a lot. Like all day you're making decisions, and people are coming to you to ask questions or for your guidance onto how to make more decisions. So if you have a hard time to make decisions, and then you're not going to be very good at entrepreneurship unless you can maybe hire someone that can make good decisions.
Okay, so the next question is, what are the biggest challenges that you have faced, such as maybe finding customers, suppliers, anything of the sort?
There's tons of challenges. There's those challenges every day is full of challenges, and I feel like that's all we do. Not only as like an entrepreneur or a business owner, but like as human beings, I feel like all we're doing is every single day we're set with challenges, and then we have to face those challenges every day, right? There's problems in our life. Every single day we have problems, and we have to solve the problems. We have to face those challenges. So I think there's just tons of them every single day. There's things, but for example, opening up a second dojo, that was a big challenge, because I saw the opportunity for growth, to grow our business, to grow our jiu-jitsu community. I saw a great opportunity in the city of Milpitas, and that was a huge challenge because I can't be at two places at once, and so I have to really have a team that I can trust. I have to be able to teach all the classes here, but at the same time start that place up, and because I'm not there all the time, and because the market's different, the timing was different. Like you open up one gym and you're like, okay, like I have an idea, but then you open up a second gym and you realize, oh, like it's totally different. Like the market, the area, the business. So I think that was a big challenge. Like opening up a second gym. For me, like being an entrepreneur, you have things that you enjoy and things that you don't enjoy, and you either have to just do things you don't like because they have to be done, or you hire somebody to do the things you don't like, which is a great idea if you have the money to do that, right? So like, if you can afford to, but the one thing that I don't like is DIY. I don't even want to build like a cabinet or anything. Like all of those desks or those chairs over there, they're storages that they have, like you could pull it out, you put like stuff inside of it. But I don't want to build that. No, even that gives me a headache. So.
All those cabinets right there.
Oh yeah, everything. This here, well, those were already built. But yeah, anything DIY, like, no, I don't want to do that. So I was really lucky that when we built this place, my dad helped me a lot. He can do anything when it comes to like fixing stuff or DIY. So he helped me a lot. I'm really good at helping. Like you tell me what to do and I'll do it. When it comes to like construction or DIY or painting or whatever, like I can help. And I'll be your best friend hanging out and chilling while you do it, and support. Yeah, hold the flashlight. I'll get you the tool. I'll go make a Starbucks run. Whatever you need. Like, and then so he helped me out here, and then I had some really really good friends. Matt Munoz, my friend Jimmy, my dad as well. When we opened the second location, and Giglio, who's the head professor there, but specifically Matt, like he's pretty much our facilities manager now. Yeah, he's got the title. So anything that like our sink was leaking the other day, and I don't know what I was doing. I was like washing my hands, and then just tons of water was coming down. Like the pipe totally came apart. And me looking at that thing, I'm already want to break stuff and get anxious. And the classes were just starting, the kids' classes, right? And then my wife came. She works the front desk a few days of the week, and so she just like, hey, go help me. So she grabbed the bucket and just put it underneath, just like, hey, temporary fix. All right, call Matt. Called Matt. Hey, Matt. And he's like, I'll do it tonight. And so he fixed it that night. So I'm just I think that's when you're an entrepreneur. There's challenges every day, but there are some that are easier to deal with, and others that are harder, and some that are big and some that are small. So yeah.
Sorry. It's great that you have this good team that you trust a lot around you. Okay, so
I've been blessed with a lot of like good people. So I think jiu-jitsu usually brings good people together, and I feel like we've been really intentional with the community that we're trying to build, and so it really brings a lot of good people that want to help out.
Okay, so our next question is, what advice would you give an aspiring entrepreneur?
You know, one of the things that I've had some friends that have opened up their own businesses and stuff, and I feel, and this might be a risky way to think about it, but I think if you want to open a business, you should go all in. And what I mean by that is I think some people are like, okay, you know, I'm going to open a business, but I'm still going to have my side job, or I'm going to open a business and I'm still, you know, I want to have this kind of safety net, which is one way of thinking about it. But like when I made this decision, like I was like, I'm going all in on this. And if it doesn't work, we'll figure that out if that happens, right? But like, and I think if we don't have that kind of mindset of going all in your decision to open up a business and be an entrepreneur, then you're not going to give it your full effort, because you're always going to be like, well, if that doesn't work, then I'll just, you know, I still have my day job, and then if you have your day job, you still got to spend 40 hours a week doing that. When do you have time to open up a business, right? Or you can your business kind of becomes like a little side hustle, and maybe that's what you want. That's fine too. But if you want to have like a business and you really want to grow it, I think that's one of my advices to people that when they do it, and I think that helps a lot, because I don't know what the story was. Like, you've got to burn the ships or whatever. It's I forgot the story behind it, but you have no way back home. You burn the ships, and now I have to make it work. So that's one big piece of advice that I think I can give for aspiring entrepreneurs. And if you don't have that, you know, it's terrifying. A lot of people always ask me like, "Weren't you scared?" I was like, "Yeah, for sure." Like, there's always like the fear of like failing, but I came to a point. I accepted the point where like I'd rather try and fail than never try in my life. So I think that's kind of the mindset.
So essentially what you're saying is you have to be open and willing to accept all the risk.
Yeah, you know, you want to mitigate as much risk as possible by trying to make the smartest decisions you can, and do the most research and preparation, and surround yourself with people. Like when I opened up my business, I heavily talked to Aaron Locks, the CEO of the other business. Like, he's done it. You know, I need to talk to people that have done it before. So he helped mitigate my risk in a lot of areas. When I negotiated the rent here, I talked to my friend who's been in real estate for 30-something years, worked with commercial properties. Hey, you know, help me with this. When I built the place, I talked to my dad. He's built everything. So yes, you have to look failure in the face and just be okay. Like, hey, if we fail, I'm going to be okay. But along the way, that doesn't mean you make stupid decisions. That means you try to make smart decisions and surround yourself with people that have been there before.
Okay.
Sure.
Well, thank you for your time, and this was a very enlightening experience.
No, thanks for having me. Hope you get an A on your project.
Thank you.